This is Julie Hogbin of the Conscious Leadership podcast, and I'm going to do this session is around adult learning. We are, as adults, very different to children about how we learn and why we learn. And very often we don't consider the difference between us as learners to children as learners. We go out, we spend a lot of money on something, we don't do anything with it. Does it sound familiar to anybody? Because I've done this. Well, have I done this? Yeah, I have actually. I have done this. You go out, you buy a program, you're buying it in high energy, you're buying it because you think it's going to give you the end result that you want. And then you go home, you might do something with it, a little thing with it, and then you don't do anything. And then you go to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So adult learning, we are different to children. And why are we different to children? There's four main reasons why we are. As children, we don't know, we don't know what we don't know as children. As adults, we don't know what we don't know either. So there's a whole process that goes with this. And what we need to think about, and there is a need to think about this, is that as adults, what's our motivation to learn? Why are we doing what we're doing? What is our motivation? Again, I've spoken a lot on these podcast series around motivation. What's your driving force? Why are you looking to do what you're looking to do? What's your purpose? What's your motivation? Unconscious or conscious? Why are you doing what you're doing? Really start to unpick that. What's the purpose behind the thing? Really start to unpick that. Once you've identified your motivation, it will really help you, choose the right thing, choose the right learning, or choose the right program, whatever it is that you're doing. And again, with adult learning, there's four things really. So motivation is one, timing is another. So why is the time right now for you to do the thing that you are learning about, or are considering learning about, or considering spending your money on, or considering your organisation paying for you to do? Why now? What is it? Why now? Are you retiring? Are you wanting to leave a job? Have you got a year to earn 100,000? What's the timing aspect of all of this? The other side of the timing thing is that you, as adults, we don't have the retentive memory that children have. And with adults, unless we put the thing that we've learned into practice, we have a tendency to forget more than we can remember. So when you're learning something, you need to put it into action as soon as you possibly can. So if you're learning something, do it. Learn it, do it, learn it, do it, learn it, do it. Put it into action. If you don't put it into action and you leave it a day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, you're going to forget. Or you're going to forget more than you remember. So put it into action. Why now? I spent a good few years teaching people how to use technical equipment. And very often with the delay in the provision of the equipment, I used to teach them on a dummy system. Very often with the delay in the technical equipment arriving, it would be a week, a month, sometimes 2 months, sometimes 3. They couldn't remember anything, basically, that I taught them. Had to go back in and redo it all. So what's the timing? Really important for us as adults. Now, the other thing is, with us as adults, if we can tap our new learning into our previous knowledge, so our experience, it is easier for us to remember the thing that we're learning. So when you've got a really good trainer or a really good mentor or a really good teacher, whatever the title is you want to call them, if they can tap it into and encourage you to relate it to previous experience, you will remember more because it goes into our long-term memory. And the final one is self-concept. And self-concept is about us as adults getting to where we've got to in life and believing that what we know is right, believing in who we are, having confidence in ourselves. So self-concept is about our belief in us, our belief in our knowledge, our belief that we're right, our belief that we add value. So when we are learning things, if somebody says something to us that doesn't sit comfortably with us, we are likely to reject the thing. So I'll give you a classic example of this. I was having a conversation with a friend this morning. So we're both of a similar age, 60 plus-ish. Both of a similar age. Now, I believe something that she doesn't believe. I believe that we can work with our subconscious, unconscious, whatever you want to call it, our inner being is the way I've begun to describe it to people. So our inner being, I believe that if we work with that, it will help us achieve whatever it is we want to achieve. She doesn't believe that. She believes that everything we do is through a logical brain, analytically driven, sometimes emotion, but she doesn't really, I don't think she actually truly believes that either. But we have very different belief systems. So I realised halfway through our conversation that her value and belief system is different to mine. I know it anyway. So her self-concept, because she didn't have the same belief system as I, she rejected what I said. So it's very interesting. So when we are on these training programs, we need to really be sure that the one we're picking is the one that will get us to the next level. Now, I go on training programs where I go to challenge my self-concept of what's possible, what's feasible, what's out there. It is so far above what I know currently that I come out of some of these training sessions and I'm like, whoa, I am blown. I cannot connect that level of knowledge into my current level of knowledge. So I take bite-sized chunks, pieces to assimilate it into my being, into my knowledge, so I can use it. I don't reject it. I know it's there and I don't actually really know what to do with it. So I'm getting there slowly but surely. So think about adult learning. What's your motivation? What's the timing now and how are you going to implement it? Don't go on a training session where you're going to not use the knowledge you're going to get for 6 months because you'll probably have to resit. Think about your experiences. How can you tap what you're learning into your current knowledge, your current experience, and what is your self-concept? Is the training you're going on going to challenge your self-concept, challenge your values, challenge your belief system, challenge what's going on for you? Now, if you know it is, go in prepared to be challenged, go into prepared to think about and be more self-aware and open to the feedback that you're going to get. Because if you're not open to it, there is no point in going on the training session. There is no point in having that conversation. Or have the conversation and allow it to trickle through slowly but surely. It's a big subject. You really need to, I say really need, that's very instructive language. Sorry everybody, didn't mean that. Think about why you're doing what you're doing. Think about what it means for you. Think about how you're going to implement your current new learning into action that takes you towards your dream, towards your goal. Go out there, do something. So I'm going to say bye for now. There's far more coming on all of this. Have a look through the back catalogue and have a look through the forward catalogue. I don't know when you're going to see this. This is a really short one, some are longer. There's some fabulous interviews with people that would challenge your self-concept coming on this podcast or already on this podcast, depending on when you're listening to this episode even. I've got a cold today, bit brain dry, but go out there, take action towards achieving something you really want to achieve. Talk to you all later. Bye for now.